Hi everybody, Heather Coleman here, your intuitive medium, spiritual guide, yoga instructor, Reiki and energy work practitioner. And I'm really glad that you can be here with me for today's video about pendulums. This is part one. The way that I like to break down pendulums to new people, so if you're brand new, this is for you, is a three-step process, but there's a little bit of overlap in all of this. With that being said, even if you're not a beginner, my hope is that you will learn something new from today's video. So when we look at what's a pendulum, there are three things we want to do right so that we can get the best and most effective results with our pendulum. And again, I like to break this down to a three-step process: choose, align, and practice. So I'm going to show you three different pendulums, and I'm just going to talk with you a little bit today about the three steps. But just know that we won't be getting in depth into practice today, because we're going to cover that more in depth in our pendulum part 2 video. So watch for that coming up. In the meantime, let's talk about how to choose a pendulum and what is a pendulum for those of you that are brand new. I'm going to show you just a real traditional pendulum here. Now you can get these online. You can go to crystal and divination shops. In fact, this one that I have, I got at a crystal shop. So this is just a straightforward pendulum. It's got a large enough, heavy enough, circular shaped bottom part. You've got the chain. You've got this little ball up here, so you can hang this from something. You'll often see these hanging up on a rack at shops, and you can hold the pendulum up and it swings. So that's what a pendulum really is. So if you are looking to do pendulum work, you can absolutely get something like this. It is a pendulum designed to be a pendulum. It's made for that purpose. With that in mind, you've got other options. This I also got at a crystal and divination shop, and it does triple duty. And I say triple duty because, one, it is a necklace, which I hope you can see here. It's got a clasp. It's also a dispenser for essential oils. And I wanted to mention that quickly because depending on what kind of work you're doing, you may put a carefully designated essential oil in here to get even more effective manifestation and clarity results. If you're looking for clarity by wearing this, which is where I like to wear it over my heart. And so this is a necklace, a dispenser for essential oils, and also a pendulum. Let me just make sure you can see that. So we hold it and it swings. And finally, you can use a necklace, just a necklace. And this borders on choosing, because if you're going to use anything, you want to feel a good connection to it. And the reason I've chosen these three is that I have one traditional pendulum, I have one multi-purpose product, and one necklace. What they all have in common is that I am so well aligned with them. It's like a hand in a glove. And they were all chosen carefully. In fact, this right here is labradorite. I was working at a crystal shop when I got this. I foresaw this over a month before it came into the shop, and I even said to the manager, "Do you have a green necklace? Because it's meant for me." I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this particular piece of labradorite does have a nice green hue to it. So you need to feel a connection to whatever you're going to buy. So if you're in person, which is a great way to select a pendulum, you'll see a rack of something like this or these, and I encourage you to touch them. Most shops are not going to mind if you touch the products. They're going to encourage it, because most, if not all, owners, managers, and employees of divination shops understand the importance of that energetic connection. And you need to have that in order to work effectively with a pendulum. So first step, choosing your pendulum. Pick the pendulum up. My recommendation is you place it in both hands and notice how you feel. And also, when you are testing out a pendulum to see if it's for you, you're going to want to see how it swings for you. You're just going to want to see how well, like here's a quick example, and this is a little more advanced, but don't worry about it. this pendulum right here, pendulum, show my yes, which it's already doing. Pendulum, can you quickly show everyone my no? It immediately changed directions. That's how well connected I am to this pendulum. Look how fast that was. That was so incredibly quick. It was awesome. And that does overlap with aligning. So choosing a pendulum has to do with testing out how well your energy aligns with that pendulum. And if you're brand new to this, my recommendation is don't overthink it. Handle different pendulums. Maybe bring an intuitive friend along for a second opinion. In fact, I've had clients actually ask me, and I've been happy to do it, to go to the shop with them and help them to choose divination products such as pendulums for themselves. So test out different ones if you're brand new. Also, notice where your eyes and your heart are drawn. Sometimes, I can't tell you how often when I worked at the crystal shop, people would say, you know something, that particular product was catching my eye. I just had a feeling. I thought it was for me. So choosing the right pendulum. Now, aligning, a lot of that happens just in the choosing. In other words, when you choose from your intuition, which is your head and your heart, it's really both. The chances are, if you're choosing well, you'll already be well aligned with that pendulum. But even so, you're still going to want to set the intention to create a strong energetic alignment. There are many ways to do that. I'm just going to give you a couple today. One of the best ways I like to align with a new product, whether we're talking a deck of cards, a pendulum, you name it, a crystal, is to place the object in your left hand, palm up, take an inhale with the intention of connecting for the highest and greatest good. Inhale. And as you exhale, try to deepen your energetic connection to that item. You can do that as many times as you like, and then hold the object either right over or close to your heart, and that process would happen a second time. You'd take anywhere from 1 to as many as you want, 3 or more deep breaths, setting the intention to energetically align with that item for the highest and greatest good of yourself and anyone who might be affected by your work with that divination tool. So choosing the right pendulum and then connecting with the right pendulum. And the next step is going to be practicing. I'm not going to get too much into detail. I already showed you just a little bit of this. But setting up your yes and your no, again, we'll just go over this briefly. We will get more into detail on this and how to ask questions. But for today, I just want to give you sort of a quick, when you align and practice both with your pendulum, a good way to do so, and I think you can see that, is to create a grid. This is lined paper, so I made a grid on this, but you can also use grid paper. And what you would want to do is set that in front of you like this, so it's a square to you where you can see it. Hold your pendulum over the very center of it and ask your pendulum to swing to your yes and then to your no, and practice that. Like, actually, I think you can see this pendulum. Can we see Heather's yes? There it goes, forward and back. Thank you, pendulum. You're amazing. Can we see Heather's no? Very quickly, side to side. So there you go. But that takes practice. And I will leave you with this today before we get more into that in our next video. I will leave you with this, a little anecdote. When I first picked up a pendulum, this was 2014, I just could not seem to get the pendulum to consistently show me a yes or a no matter how much I practiced. And what I did at that time, instead of getting frustrated, I just put it aside and said, I don't know, maybe that's just not the divination tool right now for me. But about 2 years later, I just picked up that same pendulum again, tried it again, right away. I was ready. So just keep that in mind. I really look forward to seeing you in our next video, where we will go over more in detail how to align and program your pendulum. I use the term synonymously, aligning and programming your pendulum, and practicing. So I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a video. My website is heatherlcoleman.com, and I hope to see you really soon.